bit bigger?
I just like performing in front of people, Tamsin.
Love it. No, but honestly, the conditions down here are, compared to last night, it's chalk and cheese. It's pretty good, and we've got some great racing coming up. So the women's 800 qualifying should like these conditions, and so should the men's 1500. Like I said, a bit blustery, but it's just qualifying, and I think we'll see a lot of people just tucking in and trying to do those big kick sprint home.
Yeah, just on that. So with these 8s and 15s, what sort of tactics would you employ here?
Well, for me personally, I like to go to the front and run fast, but the smart thing to do would be to tuck yourself in and take it as easy as possible, because it is a bit blustery down the front straight, and then you probably try and tuck yourself in, maybe make a move down the back straight with the tailwind, and then hopefully cruise it in for the big Q, the automatic qualifier. But it's a tough one. You have to still run to your strengths, and so if you're not quite sure of getting that automatic qualifier and you're in one of those positions where you're possibly going to be aiming for that little Q to qualify, you're going to have to make it fast. So there's going to have to be some brave running out there, brave front running.
Yeah. Now, you can give Lynchy and I a little bit of a lesson in distance running. Now, with these 1500s, obviously the wind is going down the back straight with the tails. Yep. Is there the option, because obviously we've got a number of laps out here, to sit off the front? If you're a runner that likes to be off the front, so because you're in your own rhythm, your own stride pattern, all of that sort of stuff, but then have the option of tucking in down the home straight, but then going back out in front on the back, is that something you can do?
Well, you can do that, but obviously you're really hoping on other athletes in front of you to rely on to be able to do that. So you don't want to get yourself boxed in either. You always want to have an exit route. And so that's a pretty tough race plan to follow. And it also means that you're surging. And as soon as you start surging and, kicking at one point, slowing it down, it actually takes a lot out of you. And if you do that, you may find that at the back end when the kick comes, you've just got no kick left.
And that's why I'm not a distance runner.
As smooth as possible. Yeah. You want to just keep as relaxed and as smooth as possible.
The gun goes and then we run. That's probably the simplest way to do it. That's how I found that I decided to choose those events.
Did you have to ride on your hand to get out of the blocks and turn left?
I did. I did some 200s. I maybe turn left twice. That was the trickiest bit.
It's a start, Lynchy. It's a start.
It's going to be, it's going to be pretty tough for the hundreds out here. Obviously, we've got a few athletes, Mel Breen, Josh Clark, who are really close to those qualifying times and want to get themselves on that plane to London for the World Champs later in the year. And it is a headwind down here. So I guess what we're hoping for by the time the 100-metre first rounds come around later this evening, that the wind either dies. Don't think it's going to turn round, but if we can drop it down a little bit, maybe. Josh is in great shape, so fingers crossed we see some fast time in the 100 as well.
Yeah, it's one of those things. In other qualifying events, some of the athletes will go out there and just do enough to get through. But sometimes these 100 runners are ones that like to go out there in a heat and put it all out there because they know they've got a day's rest. They're just running the 100 metres. They can freshen up to come back out to run just as well in the next round. So it is obviously disappointing that the winds are ahead on the front straight. So we probably won't see any lightning times. But moving on through to the semis and the finals, hopefully we can get some better conditions, or maybe even the officials might even choose to run some of the semis and finals down the back straight, hopefully.
Yeah, that'd be fingers crossed. That's what's happened as we see just the 12th athlete up in line, Wesley Salisbury from WA. Ben, can you help me? What is that singlet there? Do you recognise that WA singlet?
Yeah, that's the Canning Districts Club back home in WA. It's a club that's been around for a very, very long time, so it's got a very proud history in WA. Plenty of my friends back home have been members of that club, and they have represented it proudly. One member comes to mind, Courtney Carter. Courtney Carter is a distance runner. He's now living here in New South Wales. He was a member of the Canning Distance Club, and he still rocks around in the singlet to this day.
I know I've still got my Mingara Athletics Club singlet that I wore quite proudly. Very often. That's Aaron Booth out there now, the New Zealander. He'll be up next in the Javelin.